Welcome to Ellis B. Feaster's Radio Aircheck and Classic TV channel.
And while they may not always agree on what stocks to buy and sell.
Well, I would just, rather than go on hard Crossfire and talk about it, or Nightline, I thought I'd just cover it here, you know, about where my position on, because everybody's asked me about it, about my position on that punk Stern, on the FCC, and Infinity Broadcasting, so. I talk here.
Just a place, a way of doing business.
13 till 8 o'clock. I am Imus in the morning. Coming up in just a little while, Senator Bob Dole, and later this morning we'll talk to Senator Alphonse D'Amato. And these are people we talk to all the time, so we haven't just loaded it up for C-SPAN. Also, Rush Limbaugh, Scott Muni, one of the great rock and roll disc jockeys in this country, and for Mike Brain doing sports, and the former president of the United States, Richard Nixon, will be in, but Dr. Georgia Whitkin is here now.
Yeah.
She's a clinical psychologist who practices over at Mount Sinai and appears on television here in New York and on the Today Show occasionally, and does other stuff and writes, you know, a book about every 20 minutes. So, how are you?
I'm fine.
The doctor has been on a number of times with us, providing,
well, analysis of interpersonal relationships among the staff, for one thing.
So, and I'm not looking for you to support my position in this just because, you know.
So to speak.
No, I'm not. So, but I mean, see, I'm 53 years old. Now, I have been out with women who
far younger than your chronological age.
Could I finish the?
Go right ahead.
Yes, they are far younger.
Far younger.
Fine.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Younger than my daughter?
How old's your daughter?
23.
No.
He gets a chub when he sees
Absolutely
an embryo.
not.
Then let's talk.
See, here's my position. I won't go out with anyone who is younger. This sounds stupid.
Than your oldest daughter.
That is younger than my oldest daughter.
Right. Which is 26.
What a policy.
So I'm 53.
Yeah.
She's 29. Will be 30 here shortly. One of the women who I know. There's another one who's 30. Will be 31. And I've also, as you know, Dr. Whitkin, have been out with women
close to your age.
Exactly.
Right.
Haven't I?
Yes, you have.
Okay, so, but they claim that I'm some kind of lecherous Woody Allen-like pervert.
Pedophile.
I think pedophile's a little strong here.
Might be.
So, my question to you is this: just an analysis not only of those kinds of relationships, but of just the overall scheme of how all of that works and what professional analyses of that.
Okay, here's how it works.
Okay.
Men are mainly turned on by what they see. So it makes sense they will always be attracted to a younger, rounder, curvier, pink-cheeked, bright-eyed female.
Okay, I liked this woman initially, this one particular woman, because
For
she
her
was
brain.
Because I thought she was smart.
Right.
Oh, come on.
Now, among all of the women who are smart, you're going to pick out the ones that are curvier and younger, and that's what men tend to do.
Well, okay, yes.
He gets a chub when he sees a school bus.
That will be. You just be quiet in there, nitwit.
I love your round mind.
So, in other words,
And Leslie Visser said what? That it's half your age plus 10 is supposed to be the formula. In New York.
You're the doctor, not Leslie Visser.
I know, but I'm going to correct her. In New York, it's half your age plus 7. It's even younger for the trophy women. But
this is not that's insulting, Dr. Whitkin. Right. This is not a trophy woman.
For the gold diggers,
exactly
some
what
realism.
It's a very bright person.
I mean, I'm not being insulting, but you would be a trophy woman for anybody of any age.
Oh, then let me say some good things about this.
Well, no, I'm not trying to suck up to you either, but I mean.
Here's the reality. I think that most men who are dating younger women are compatible with them emotionally, because I think most men dating younger women probably have the same emotional age. And I don't mean that as a put down. I mean that very literally. Because thank you. I hear laughed at. Because men spend a few decades concentrating on other things, and they get ready for relationships when they're around 50. By then women are
I hate you.
Women, on the other hand, are not attracted to primarily visual. We want a slightly different package. And
What?
That's pretty obvious. She's not looking for the visual.
Check to the bank account.
Now, first of all, I think just an assessment of myself, I'm 53 years old.
You look dead.
I don't look dead. I think...
You are very attractive, and any woman your own age would be interested in you. The problem is that you're interested in younger women.
No. There are younger women who are also interested in me. Now, why do you think they are? Is it because of the limo?
Women are interested in men of any age as long as they can deliver what women need in terms of being practical, managing the world, having success enough to provide for her. That's what women are looking for. And in fact, the older the man is, the more he can provide that. So of course young women want you.
In fact,
old women want you. Almost everybody wants you.
Yeah, but is it because of the money and the fame and the Rolls Royces and all that and the big house?
Part of it.
No.
It is.
Couldn't be. No way.
It's a
Only
big,
about
big
90%.
Well, Bill, let me tell you something. Billy Joel, you think Edie Brickell would have married Paul Simon if he were driving a cab? I don't think so.
Probably not.
You think Christy Brinkley would have married Billy Joel if he were, schlepping a souvlaki cart on Fifth Avenue?
Not, maybe not.
Absolutely
But
not.
most men are far more romantic than women. Did you know that?
Yeah,
Far more.
I'm
Women are very practical. Women want permanence. They want...
Real romantic.
You shut up.
Did you hear the new Ralphie tape yet?
So then I'm not. So then I'm not out of line.
You're not even unusual. Here's the one thing you're going to
Are you guys hearing this?
I'm hearing.
No, we're not buying it.
Are you wouldn't buy anything.
She's a
because
friend of yours.
She's not a friend of mine. She's a renowned physician. She's been on the program a number of times.
Turn off the cameras and see what she says.
That's not true.
Here's the question you have to ask yourself. In about 20 years, when she is my age and
Right.
You're dead.
I'm not going to be.
If there's a
rolls
God.
in the wheelchair out to the edge of the sea to look at the water while she goes to play tennis with the young crowd.
She'll put the shawl around your shoulders.
I really absolutely
small
hate you, Dr. Woodkin. Dr. Georgia Woodkin here in the Imus Winning program. For the first time on C-SPAN, Delbert McClinton. All right, it's a great Delbert McClinton here on the Imus in the Morning program, and that would support that I'm a romantic, wouldn't it?
Yes. Oh, you're very romantic.
Delbert McClinton, the only. Delbert McClinton and Kinky Friedman, the only two people. Occasional Eagle record, but primarily only two people get played on this show.
That's exactly right.
But it's mostly Delbert. And when Delbert McClinton's in your town, you got to go see him now.
Imus in the morning.
Let me talk to you a little bit about some of that Mexican food, baby.
Nah, 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 nah.
You might want to get yourself a lip lock on one of them enchiladas. You know, speaking of that, Casa Miguel is this Mexican restaurant in Mount Kisco, and it is terrific. I haven't been in a while, but I mean, man, you could get yourself a lip lock on a big old
Chimichanga.
on one of them
Enchilada deal.
And you know how a good barometer for a Mexican restaurant, the hot sauce they have, if it's any good. And theirs is, and you can buy big jugs of it and take it home. Plus they make their own chips and stuff, so they're not like those greasy, icky chips and stuff. And they have
Guacamole.
Yeah, that's good. It's fattening, but
Margarita.
yeah, and you can get faced and
Sure.
But it's a great place. Casa Miguel asked for one of the Idiot Hogan brothers, 914-666-7588. May want to check that out.
Imus!
You got that Smith Corona word processor from Nobody Beats the Whiz for Christmas, and all you do is sit and
Peter Arnett is 59 years old, and his woman is 27.
Let's work this out.
Well, that's sick.
That's sick.
Well, because Peter Arnett's disgusting.
Well, I just wanted you,
Well, I'll tell you something about Peter Arnett. He's a traitor.
32 years difference in there.
Yeah, but didn't he marry some cowhead from...
Now, how would it look, though, if I was
some-
with somebody who was 20?
But you understand all these comments now are being carried on C-SPAN. I mean,
Of course.
you imagine the letters they're going to get for this?
Well, it was just a bad decision on their part.
Stupid.
Clearly.
Okay, Don, how would it look if I was with somebody 29?
How would it look what?
If I was with someone 29.
You'd look like you were with a gigolo.
That's right.
Sure.
Well,
And
how would I even find somebody who's 29?
Well, pretty easily.
Yeah,
but I mean,
no problem.
yeah, you'd have no problem. But
No.
So you think it looks inappropriate for me to be with somebody 30?
No, I'm saying in this society, it looks inappropriate for me. There's no turn.
Yeah, but you're a beautiful woman, so there's not a plus
still
smart.
looks strange.
Plus you're a professional, so you're not going
still
to
looks
have
strange.
any problems getting a date, you know. What are we doing here now?
One more commercial with the Fairfield County multiple listing tag.
Then what?
Then we'll do Charles with the newscast.
Okay, then what did you do there? How many how many minutes?
We're going to do 4 minutes of commercials here.
Now, who's the next guest and what time is it? It's Dole at 8:10.
Dole at 8:10.
This is too hard to work and I'm not getting enough money.
Oh.
Guys, shut up. Jeez.
Atlantic Airways to London, Britain's favorite airline. From now until March 20th, children 2 to 11 fly for 50% off when
You
traveling.
know, I don't like the fact that there's some basketball players and some football players who make more money than I do. So I don't like.
You make plenty of money.
I don't make plenty of money. I don't make plenty of money for the millions of dollars I make this company, and then how I defended them. By the way,
Very strong defense, might
30
I add.
seconds.
Send information on any home listed in all 23 towns in the county. This exposure should sell faster and get the best price. If you're selling a home in Fairfield County, ask your realtor to join Fairfield One MLS. It's the new way.
nobody on at 8:30, right?
Right, nobody.
One of the great rock and roll disc jockeys of all time, Scott Muni here doing sports. We just didn't have time to do sports because we don't care about it. Even Bill Bradley doesn't care about it. And I ought to say something to the nitwits who try to run these sports radio stations around the country, which I've tried to tell them. The most successful real estate firms in Fairfield County here in Connecticut, or there in Connecticut or wherever, have put this new computerized listing service together. It's called Fairfield One MLS because it's the one multiple listing service that gives you home coverage in all 23 towns in Fairfield County instead of 1 or 2. So if you're selling a home or looking for one, make sure you go to a realtor who's a member of the new Fairfield One MLS. That's enough of that. I am Imus in the morning, and this is WFAN in New York. And we are away from all of the most of the local stations, or some local stations who stay with us.
Yeah.
This newscast is sponsored by Robert Half Account Temps. What is this?
Yep.
This is like a legitimate escort service, right?
Exactly.
No. It's a temporary secretary service.
What's an escort service?
Sure.
They come over temporarily, and you pay them.
Do you subscribe?
No, but I.
Oh, they don't
Has in
send
the
over
past.
teens. That's right.
No, but I know how it works. But I mean,
He knows the process.
absolutely.
Sure.
And I have. I mean, years ago, back when everybody knows my history. I mean, I don't try to hide anything.
Of course not.
You're a sleaze.
I'm not a sleaze.
You were a sleaze.
I did a couple lines of cocaine. Suddenly, I'm an addict. You know. when,
You snorted half of Peru.
Yeah.
well,
You put Pablo Escobar's kids through college.
yes, but I had a couple of drinks of vodka, but I've been.
You used to get Christmas cards from Johnny Walker.
Didn't take a toll on you though visually.
No.
How do you think you're going to look when you're 53?
Hopefully not like you.
But believe me, you won't, you ball-headed stooge. God, I hate you. Well, why then? Because Dr. George, why do women find me attractive, Dr. Wicken? Because they do.
It's your blue eyes.
It is my
And
boy.
I think you're a wonderful project. Women have this fantasy that no matter who they're with, they're going to change them.
Right.
And men have a fantasy that she's going to never change.
Right.
And the minute you marry her, of course, she gets so busy that she changes and he does not change.
No, but they're primary.
So you're a piece of work. I mean, people
So
see you as a wonderful project.
A reconstruction.
Don. That's right.
What needs to be? Nothing needs to be done with me.
Everything needs to be done.
What needs to be done?
Infrastructure breakdown in New York City. For crying out
I
loud.
know you assume deep within your heart, you're probably tender and loving, even though you scream all day. And
I don't scream all day. I just because they're idiots. My producer, Badar McGurk, is a Nazi. What can I do about that?
I found the most wonderful research about you.
Shut up, faggot.
It's research about the high testosterone man.
We don't have time for it right this second, Dr. Wickton. We're going to do a little more news, and we'll talk to Robert Dole, and then we'll get back to you. Imus in the morning news time is 3 minutes now after 8 o'clock. All right, if you're thinking about putting the perfect office staff together, don't worry about that. If you're tired of having employees to hire somebody. Look how many assistants we went through here until
horrible. Sure.
Well, until I actually got personally involved in the hiring process. Now we got somebody who's pretty good. We got somebody who's great, Liesl Addendum. Anyway. But you know why she's good? Because she's a former airline stewardess. And
exactly.
So, you know, she's already from a service industry. She's already dealt with a bunch of obnoxious, fat, drunk businessmen.
That's right.
So dealing with a jerk like me is an easy transition. Yeah, well. Okay, account temps is this outfit you can call. They have, you can call them, they'll send somebody over for a week or a day or a month or longer. They fill all kinds of clerical positions. They can... they can do your books for you, and most of them are overqualified. So, in fact, I guess they all are. So here is the telephone number. Account temps here in New York, 687-7878. Call them, find out what that's all about.
New York Lotto. We won't stop until everyone's a millionaire.
Excuse me, could you get off my property?
Oh, is this your property?
Yeah, the left side of the mountain is mine.
Is that your left or my left?
We're not gonna.
What?
Twice a week, we're trying to make
the
you a
little thing
millionaire,
short,
but
Charles.
you've got to play to win. So
We're going to talk to Dole. We'll talk to Dole at 10 after.
Coming up.
So give me live from New York. We won't have a lot of time. As soon as Dole's on the phone, let me know and we'll go right to him.
Good plan.
Don't be standing over my shoulder taking while I'm trying to talk to people. I was gracious enough to let you people in there. After you've been simulcasting these lame radio.
Oh, God Almighty, shut up! Boy, for 5 seconds, shut up. Jeez.
Well, I don't think you scream at me, do you?
Oh yes.
Well, why? Imus in the morning news time, 5 minutes after 8 o'clock. I was telling the C-SPAN cameraman.
You were in another rant for crying out.
No, I wasn't. I simply said to Bob, doofus over here.
What's his name?
Danny.
You're good.
I said to Bob to stop standing over my shoulder with his camera.
Yeah, how annoying is that?
Because they've worked with these. Well, here's the graphic. Journalist Roundtable, normally seen at this time, will air live at 10 a.m.
I think I'd rather see that.
Anyway,
that's not David Brinkley you're looking at.
Don't you say anything about David Brinkley.
No, it's Chet Huntley for crying.
David Brinkley's an American icon, you bald-headed nitwit.
I love the man. Hate you.
All right, here with more news now, or some news at least.
Okay.
Is my friend Charles McCurr. We'll talk to Senator Bob Dole in a minute or so here.
Just quickly, Attorney General Reno reportedly has concluded she's going to have to seek an independent counsel to investigate the real estate deal involving the president if a new ethics law passes Congress. Justice Department people handling the case now trying to determine if money was illegally diverted from a failed Arkansas savings and loan to the Whitewater Development Corporation. Republicans want Reno to appoint a special prosecutor. She has resisted that, saying that she, a Clinton appointee, would still be in control.
The Office of Professional Responsibility is conducting the investigation.
You know, we've had enough jive. We've had enough jive from this woman. First of all, she is just full of it. Yeah. And, I mean, this is ridiculous. She should be back in the Everglades wrestling alligators.
And maybe.
And, you know, no stauncher defender of women's rights than I am. But, I mean, first of all, she lied about that Waco deal when they cooked those kids down there in Texas. And, I mean, that was a bunch of bogus junk.
Well.
And then even the New York Times characterized her excuse as lame, saying that people couldn't trust her to name a special prosecutor who would be independent. So this is ridiculous. This is disgraceful behavior.
And
I think.
The Times headlines their lead editorial today, Janet Reno's shameful delay, and asks finally, how could matters be more mortifying for Justice Department than they are right now?
I mean, she's...
Get out.
Get out. That's exactly right. Get out.
Also in the headline stories, Nancy Kerrigan's participation today in the U.S. Figure Skating Championships is very much in doubt following an assault that left her right knee swollen and badly bruised. After practice yesterday, this guy ran up to her, skulked across the ice, and hit her with a club or metal bar, something like a crowbar, then fled. Escaped. Haven't seen him since. And the championships are a qualifier for the U.S. Olympic team. The rules state that if she can't skate today, she can't make the team, but they may make or try to make some sort of an exception because
well, first of all,
extraordinary circumstances.
It was an outrage what they did to Monica Seles, jerking her #1 ranking away from her because some stooge stabbed her.
Yep.
I mean, that was just outrageous, and it was even outrageous for Steffi Graf to accept the ranking. And this would be, of course, the Olympic Committee is such a bogus bunch of talk about the morons at the FCC.
Yeah.
They all ought to be. Well, it may be interchangeable. Maybe those clowns also are on the
they just shift.
On the Olympic Committee. But there's nothing more corrupt. If there's anything more corrupt than the Olympic Committee, it would be I don't know, say boxing.
No, come on. Stop it.
I mean, when you have people like George Steinbrenner and Don King involved in the Olympics, I think it's pretty clear where they're coming from. So they've clearly got to give this woman an opportunity to heal, and
at least that is an option that is being considered, though I guess it hasn't been finalized at this point. Well, you would think.
Well,
certainly.
They have to.
Common sense would say so, of course. Also, a somber President Clinton last night, spending about an hour paying tribute to his mother at the funeral home where a public viewing will be held today. Funeral services then for Virginia Kelly are to be held tomorrow. And in case you missed it, the Grammy nominations were announced yesterday. Sting led with a half dozen, included Best Album and Song, as well as Record of the Year. Billy Joel, Whitney Houston, and R.E.M. were nominated 4 times each. Also nominated twice, in fact, is singer Aaron Neville.
I'm like a child, really. Like, it's exciting to me, and I can't wait to get there. And whatever happens, happens. But, so far I got to this point, which is great,
Been making enough money to take that milk dud off his eyelid.
I think that's his milk dud, and he's sticking with it.
Well, yeah, but it's just it is. Anyway, it's exactly 10 minutes after 8 o'clock, 8:10 in New York, and I am Imus in the morning. And on the phone now is a man who has told me that if indeed he runs for president, and I bet he's going to be asked every day by every dope like me who interviews him whether he's going to run or not. He's already told me he does not want my endorsement. Senator Robert Dole. Good morning, Senator Dole.
Yeah, your track record's not too good.
Well, I did pretty good with Clinton, don't you think?
Oh, yeah, I did. Well, I don't know how you did. I mean, you got him elected. But, I'm a big fan of the Kansas City Chiefs, so don't get into football.
Yeah, so are we. We don't know if they have a chance to go to the Super Bowl or not. What do you think?
I don't know. It's going to be tough out there. But I thought first I just wanted to indicate, I know you've got a lot of listeners in Boston, and I wanted to pay my respects to Tip O'Neill and his family and his many, many friends down there. He was a good friend of mine. We were in different parties, but we were good friends.
I was going to ask you about that. I was talking with Bill Bradley earlier, and he liked him a lot. And I was talking with Mike Barnacle of the Boston Globe, who apparently covered him for a long time and was a friend of his, and he had some glowing things about him. He did say that, that he was 81 and that was a good run. And I said to Mike Barnacle, I said, well, yeah, but try telling somebody 80 that 81 is a good run,
Or somebody 90, right?
Yeah. So how have you been?
I've been doing very well and doing a little traveling around the country, and I'm happy to have you. I guess you're on C-SPAN this morning, right?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, I guess with Congress shut down, they need a little comedy somewhere.
We don't know what happened to Brian Lamb, what came over him, but you were right after this Whitewater thing broke. You were the first one, at least I heard, calling for a special prosecutor. We still don't have one, and papers are full of stories this morning. Right. The Attorney General is still dragging her feet. What do you make all that?
I don't know. It seemed to me that, and I don't know that anybody guilty of anything or that did anything wrong, but there's a lot of precedent in the past, going back to the Nixon years, where they've appointed special prosecutors. There are a lot of good people out there, Republicans or Democrats, who could do a good job, and it would sort of elevate it and get it out of the Attorney General's office. And she, I think it would serve her well, but above all, I think it would serve the president well. We've had cases, in fact, back in the Carter years, where a Republican special prosecutor cleared Burt Lance and the president of anything, and I've talked with him a number of times. I think it's just seemed to me it's in the president's interest to get stop all this talk and go ahead and let the Attorney General appoint a special counsel. But that's a decision that I guess the White House, the Attorney General is supposed to make, but I think the White House may be involved in.
Of course, a lot of Republicans, I don't know if you were involved in this, Senator Dole, but weren't that enthusiastic about a special prosecutor when Bush was in office during the Iran-Contra thing, were they?
No, I never was too crazy about it, but we've had a lot of them.
Yeah.
We actually see that. I think people are confused because she has the authority without any so-called special prosecutor law to appoint a special counsel. And that law has been on the books for a long time. And that's our view, that we don't need another law. She's got the authority right now to move ahead. But she feels that she said last night, be damned if she does and damned if she doesn't. But that's, you've got to take some heat in public service, too.
Well, the New York Times and I pointed out that was a pretty lame excuse on her part, because she couldn't name an independent, a prosecutor who would be perceived as being independent, because obviously, there's been many examples where that's been done, and Archibald Cox would be a pretty good example.
Yeah, Leon Jaworski, Archibald Cox.
Exactly, yeah.
In fact, I sent her, mailing her a letter last night, suggesting 7 names, Republicans and Democrats, people like former Attorney General Griffin Bell, former Attorney General Benjamin Civiletti, both outstanding Democrats. There are a lot of good people around who would, and I don't fault the people who are doing the investigating now. They're career people, but in my view, it needs to be elevated and focused on. But
I love the way Griffin Bell talks, don't you?
I voted against Griffin Bell's nomination. That's one mistake I made. I apologize to him every time I see him.
Yeah.
Somebody told me he was a racist and all this, and of course he's not.
Yeah.
But I think he's an outstanding person. Yeah, I like the way he talks, too.
Hey, I don't want to get you involved in this because you may not want to get involved with it, but you know what they're calling this deal with it? These 2 Arkansas state troopers accusing the president of all these hideous things?
Right.
You know what they're calling that? Fornigate. It's pretty good, huh?
Well, I've heard Troopergate, but I hadn't heard the other one yet. Yeah.
I got that from Tim Russer, by the way.
Oh, Tim?
Yeah.
Well, Tim was right on the ball, yes.
Of course, he said he stole it from somebody, so...
Yeah, well, they do a lot of that in this town here, but
Senator...
I never do, but some of the others do.
Well, you don't have to. Senator Dole, if Zoe Baird if she'd have come up for a vote in the Senate, how would you have gone on that?
I think I would have voted against her at the time, but I'm a little concerned now with the double standard we seem to be applying to Bobby Inman. That's probably what you're getting to, but if it was wrong for Zoe Baird, I don't know why it's right for a man.
Doesn't make any sense, does it?
No, I think it's going to be pretty well ventilated in the hearings, but particularly since he was waiting. He said he was waiting until they changed the law so he'd know how much he had to pay. Which is another pretty lame excuse in my view.
And you think, this thing had been going on for a year, and, I guess he was in the private sector, and he wasn't doing that great. And
now he's going broke.
Yeah.
At least the company was. But,
yeah. So.
But he'll fit right in government.
And I was talking to Senator Bradley again early this morning, and is here we go again on the I'm not picking on the administration because
right.
As you know, I like Bill Clinton, and I may be the sole media force in this country who's willing to stand up for him until he's run out of town. But is this just another? We threaten North Korea with we're going to jump ugly with them if they don't let us look at everything, and now we're backing off of that. Is this represent?
Well, in my view, we don't dare back off on that. I mean, we've got to have open inspection. We can't say we can inspect 2 sites or inspect half the sites one time. Or I think it's fairly universal here, and I believe that's going to be the president's position. I want to support the president in foreign policy. I hope he's going to insist on that, but the treaty is the treaty, and it's a non-proliferation treaty. And if they don't want to abide by it, we've got some real problems.
How far should we go to enforce it?
Well, I think we at least ought to go to the sanction route. Some would say we ought to have a blockade. We ought to continue the so-called team spirit exercises. We ought to beef up. We ought to get South Korea. They've been fairly quiet, too. They've been waffling about as much as some in the administration on what our policy should be. But we've got 30-some thousand Americans there who would be in grave danger. So I'm still going to stick with the president. I think he's on the right track, but we can't step back and say, well, we'll just look the other way. We won't inspect all the sites if it offends the North Koreans.
Of course, Senator Dole, your position, ironically, or maybe not so, is about the same as Bill Bradley's on this. It's kind of interesting, huh?
No, I think Bill and I agree on a lot of the foreign policy area. He's, in my view, is certainly in trade and foreign policy, got good forward-looking, solid views.
I know Tim Russett asked you and every other person who talks to you until 96 has asked you if you're going to run for president. So I'm not going to ask you that, but just anticipating that you do, You know what you might need, Senator Dole? Is a scandal of some kind.
Well, we're working on one.
I mean, Elizabeth Dole is too beautiful to be fooling around on, not suggesting that you would.
Right.
And, of course, you don't want to get involved in anything that you...
She's getting a lot of blood, though. President of the Red Cross, she gets a lot of blood around the country.
But if you could... maybe just a photograph of somebody on your lap would do it, you know?
Now, my dog's here right now. I can we've got a nice little schnauzer called... His name is Leader. Appropriate name, we thought, but it's about close as we've gotten.
Senator Dole, as you know, I dearly love you, and thank you very much for coming on, and we'll talk to you again.
Right, and I'd like to meet Fred sometime. I've been trying to sell some coffee mugs. We don't have, out in Russell, Kansas, we have a coffee mug because Arlen Specter, Senator Specter from Pennsylvania, and I are for the same little hometown, so He's got his picture on one side of the mug and mine on the other. They're not selling too well, so if you could send me Fred's address.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's got an 8, Senator Dole, you can call Fred at 1-800-272-1957.
What's it, 1957?
Yeah, he used to restore 1957 Chevys. Now he doesn't have any time because he's too busy selling these coffee mugs and these shirts and stuff.
Well, we've got one he could throw in as a bonus and really help our future.
I can tell you, he's a huge fan of yours, too, and he'd be more than willing to do that. So have Clarkson or somebody call him at
I'll do it.
1-800-272-1957.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Thank you, Senator Dole.
Okay.
Senator Bob Dole here on the Imus in the Morning program. It's 20 minutes after 8 o'clock. Speaking of Kansas City, talk about Little Wilbur now.
They got some crazy little women there, and I'm gonna get me one.
Imus in the morning.
You know, I love him.
I know you do. I know you do. Huge fan.
He's a smart guy, too.
Yes, he is.
Let me talk to you about some Whitney yogurt. You know, if you put on a few pounds, like my friend Scott Muni here, one of the all-time great rock and roll disc jockeys of... Well, of course, as they identify him on the screen on the dumb C-SPAN, Rob Bartlett. Well, they got... But then it's interesting how you and Rob Bartlett look almost identical, isn't it?
It's freaky, huh? Separated at birth.
The confusion why they would put up that slide.
Separated at birth. I'm fighting the music, Lou. Separated at birth. Rob Bartlett, Scott Muni. Anyway, get yourself some Whitney's yogurt.
Hey, you look like a bloated walrus.
Yeah, you might want to pick a time when I'm not talking, fatso. Whitney's yogurt, fat-free, and it really is good stuff. Like they have this chocolate cappuccino.
Oh, please.
That it tastes like pudding. You know how some yogurt has like that icky water stuff on top?
Yeah.
This does not have that.
Surface ick.
Surface ick is
No,
what we
don't
call it.
have it.
Doesn't have it. Whitney's yogurt. It's in yellow cup. Get it at your supermarket.
You got that Smith Corona word processor from Nobody Beats the
Have somebody get me some, get me a Slim Fast deal. Do we have any? Or
I'll probably have to go to the store.
Let's work this out.
how much are they?
It's $1.50.
Don't you owe me some money?
Yeah, I owe you like $2, I think.
I missed the Dole interview when it was #1, and NBC wanted to know if they could use a couple of cuts from it to credit Imus in the Morning program.
They wanted to know, NBC wanted to know what?
If they could use a couple of clips from the Dole interview.
From the Dole interview?
Yes.
Chief.
Credit the Imus
For
in the Morning
what?
program.
For the Today Show? Or?
Yeah, for NBC Radio, and they're talking about...
Ruth Fuzzy's here, by the way.
Well,
Okay, gotcha. And Fred Imus is on hold. He's next. Plus, you want to give away those Giants tickets?
Oh, no, please don't bother me with that stuff. I don't. But we need to get...
Yeah, me again.
How much time do I have here? How much time do I have to think here?
This one involves my machine that broke down.
2 minutes.
You know what time we got there?
Have Eileen introduce herself.
Okay.
That was unbelievable. Then he gets there and wants to talk about the 1927 World Series and Babe Ruth. Get my machine fixed.
Is that Rush Limbaugh good?
They know what they're doing. They come with
Very
that cigarette, the shirt undone. Where's the bathroom? Well, thank goodness I
want
found
that on
the
again,
solution,
plus
the
white
American
faces.
Office Equipment Solution,
So we're gonna come out of this, do traffic, talk to Fred. What do you want?
I just want to know if it's okay to feed NBC
Feed NBC what?
a couple of cuts from the Dole interview.
What do you think?
Sure, they're going to credit the...
I hate NBC.
They're going to credit
They
the
suck.
program.
What?
Come on, they're going to credit the
I don't
program.
care. They
The
suck.
Imus in the Morning program.
NBC sucks.
As heard this morning on the Imus in the Morning program.
Well, it's not her fault that they suck.
No, I know, but...
First of all, I don't care about the credit, and they lie about that anyway.
Okay.
They lie about crediting, and I wouldn't want to be on an NBC station anyway.
Forget them. It's the national feed.
Tell them I said no.
You got it.
This ad agency stuff isn't
You're just a total jerk, aren't you? Just a total jerk.
No, I'm just kidding, Craig. No, it's all right.
Okay. What an idiot. God.
But you won't let me do anything like that because you're... I'll introduce her here.
Because at Shaman, we think small business is serious business. We make sure our banking fits yours. Never before have we offered a checking package with convenient features like overdraft protection, ATM cards, and even transferring funds by phone.
So, if we pick up the Braxton account, maybe we can...
You know, but I just feel like I'm not getting any goddamn help here. It's a problem this morning. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if I don't think of this shit and you don't tell me, do you understand what I'm saying?
Which shit is this?
All of this. I mean, just what we've got coming up.
Please shut up.
I've got to continually ask you. Here's Ali Marchese Cohen now with the 9X Mobile Fan Highway Patrol. What are you shaking your head about?
Because you're berating the staff once again.
No, but I was
no reason whatsoever.
Now, when I swear like that, is that on C-SPAN?
Yes.
I don't want that. I don't. But see, I don't want
so.
to.
Too late now.
Stop it. Well, I don't want that on C-SPAN, or I don't want that anywhere.
Well, kill yourself then.
Well, I don't want to kill myself, but I mean,
Well, I'll do
You have
it.
to control yourself.
but I don't feel like I'm getting any help here.
Do you feel...
But it's not just this morning; it's every morning.
Dr. Whitman?
What are you talking about?
Well, I don't know. I've always got to ask what's going on and what's coming up, and somebody should be telling me that.
Yeah, you're right.
Shouldn't they?
Yes.
Then you get this. Hey, shut up. I know what's coming up.
Absolutely. There's no win. It's a no. It's lose-lose.
How is it lose-lose?
Because you just can't. I'm not hearing you guys in there. You guys, you
You're
pipe
talking too
down.
much. I've been doing this for 22 years. I know what's going on. Get in, get out. Shut up. Shut down.
What do you think the problem is, Dr. Whitman?
I think it's time for you to apologize. You really do that so well.
All right, well, I'm sorry, but I mean,
Oh, stop it. You don't want to hear it.
Yeah, really.
It's 8:25, almost 8:26, 26 after 8. Imus and Wendy. Are we back on a network now?
Yes, we are.
Okay, live from El Paso, Texas, is my brother, Fred Imus. Good morning, Fred.
Yo, I.
Owner and operator of the Auto Body Express. How are you?
When have you dated a woman near your age?
When have I?
When you were 20?
No, recently.
No, you haven't.
Yes, I have.
You dated a woman 50?
I'm not 50 yet.
What?
No, I did take Dr. Whitkin. Dr. Whitkin and I have been out a couple of times.
To a Mexican restaurant.
But we have never had sex or
Well,
anything.
the doctor's
Have we,
fine.
Doctor?
No,
the
we
doctor's
haven't.
fine.
What?
The doctor's fine.
Yes, she's
Thank you, Fred.
She's an
Very attractive woman.
Yes,
Thank
she's
you,
an
Fred.
attractive woman, Fred.
And got a brain, too. Jesus, what's going on in this country?
Thank you, Fred. Showbiz.
What a 90s guy, Fred.
How old is?
Hi, man, what are you wearing?
What?
What are you wearing today?
I have on. Actually, you know what I have on? Well, look what I have on. Get a shot of this. I got.
One of them Lucchese's, ain't it?
Well, no.
pants on.
Where's the camera? These idiots from C-SPAN. This is the belt buckle you gave me for when I was in the hospital.
Wow, that's cool.
Oh,
So
wow.
what kind of shirt you have on?
Lucchese. But look here.
Show me a diaper.
Look at this. Can you get a shot of this? This is the Auto Body. This is your cheesy shirt that you sell.
You don't have it on, though, do you?
No, I don't.
Because I was home watching C-SPAN.
Right.
By the way, they're doing an excellent job.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
So how do you feel?
I feel great.
Okay.
We're getting calls from around the country, people seeing this show.
Right. And what are they saying?
They want it in their market.
Well, they're going to get it in their market. A year from today,
They want it in Kansas City.
when that maggot punk Howard Stern is out of business.
I heard that thing you did on the FCC.
Yeah.
I understood about 3 words.
Oh, they were 4 syllables?
And,
So did he.
and the, and FCC. But we don't need them big words, Hi.
Well,
Because there's a lot of ignorant people out here like me.
I understand that. But I mean, you know what irritates me about Stern? And I'll tell you what irritates me about David Letterman, too. And nobody's been a bigger supporter of Letterman since he came to New York, and he doesn't need my support.
Jesus, I'm sorry I brought this up.
No, but I mean, he lets that punk, puts that punk on his television program and lets him talk about ripping me off, about me ripping him off. And I mean, that's so preposterous, it's just outrageous. And my only point is that even if he is a maggot, he still ought to be, he still ought to be able to say whatever he wants to say, and the FCC ought to get out of Infinity Broadcasting's business. And the essential point I made was that at Infinity, at least we're abiding by the law, and the FCC isn't.
Well, who do those airways belong to?
Belong to the public.
Well, the public. Then I think it's not like a guy has a newspaper or rents a hall and espouses what he wants to you. People have a right to decide what's going to be on the airways. But they're owned by the public. That's where the point is.
Well, it's
not a matter of freedom of speech.
Well, I don't know about that, but I see.
Senator Bradley's great, isn't he?
Yeah, he's good. How about Dole?
Oh, yeah, I love him. I'm going to sell them cups for him, or give them away, if he wants me to. He's right about Kansas City.
About what about them?
They're just going to beat up on Pittsburgh.
They are. How about the Giants of Minnesota?
Minnesota has the same chance of winning as about the same chance as there is of Janet Reno appointing a special prosecutor to investigate Clinton for anything. She shot her wad in Waco.
Yeah, when she's
the most ineffective attorney general we ever had. When we got kids dying in schools every day, we need an attorney general like Bobby Kennedy. We need to go after guns like Bobby Kennedy went after Hoffa.
Well, you're absolutely right. We need to.
Nobody has the courage to do that. They're all scared of the NRA and everybody else.
And Janet Reno.
I say let everybody own as many guns as they want. But you stick one in your pocket and walk outside with it, you're going to do 5 years.
Well, that's exactly
what they're going to have to do to stop, and all this other jive is just jive.
Well, people are afraid to criticize.
Now.
People are afraid
to. Washington Redskins, if they think hiring
wait a minute here. Just wait a minute. People are afraid to criticize Janet Reno because she's a woman, but she ought to be back in the Everglades wrestling alligators because, first of all, she's a liar, and she lied about that deal in Waco when they burned those kids to death, and there was no reason to do that on God's earth. Was there any reason to do that?
Being a woman.
Pardon me?
Nothing to do with her being a woman.
Absolutely nothing. But I don't want to get a bunch of phone calls from a bunch of screaming lesbians.
And I figured out.
Beautiful. I'm just kidding.
I figured out how women can have this equality they want in the military.
Yes, how?
When they turn 18, make that trip down to the post office and pick up one of them cards. That's how you get the equality. You're running a 100-yard dash. You don't start at the 50-yard line.
I'll tell you what, Fred. I will buy 1 million shirts from you if you can tell me what expurgatory paroxysms means.
Means a boner.
Something you don't know anything about. How did he know?
All right.
What were we going to say about the Redskins? We got to go here in a second.
We do?
Yeah.
They're making a big mistake if they think that the offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys is going to solve their problems.
Who would?
Well, the Dallas has 3 plays. Anybody could be the offensive coordinator for Dallas.
Yeah.
They hand the ball to Emmett. They throw the ball to Emmett. They let Emmett block while Aikman throws it to Marvin Irvin.
Yeah.
That's only 3 plays. Can he take that with him to Washington?
Of course, it could be Michael Irvin. That might be also who you're talking about. Yeah, who we're talking about, yeah. No, he can't take that to Washington, and that's a good point. You know who the Washington Redskins should hire?
Yep. Ditka.
Either Mike Ditka or, even better yet, my man, Buddy Ryan.
No, you know where Buddy Ryan should go?
No.
Atlanta. If Atlanta's as serious about winning, then they'll hire Buddy Ryan. If they're not serious, they'll hire somebody else.
Yeah, true.
The Ditka should be in Washington.
All right, go ahead.
Never mind.
All right, I love you. I'll call you later. Hey, I hope you sell some shirts, huh?
I have other picks to make.
We have to go.
Too late.
1-800-27...
Kiss off, then.
But that don't need... 1-800-272-1957. Fred Imus in El Paso, Texas. What'd you say?
Get a close-up of that shirt hanging behind you.
God.
Out in the West Texas town of El Paso.
Fred Imus in the morning.
Dope. Hung up. Well, all right. All right, chances are... Come in, Angela. Chances are you probably have a snowstorm this winter. Well, we're predicting one here in New York today. Hey, you know what I just got? I got one of those Grand Cherokees.
Oh, man. What a hot automobile.
Now, so you could go to your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealer and get you a Grand Cherokee, and now you're not going to pay what I paid for mine.
What'd you pay for yours, What was that bill? What'd it come to? Sticker?
Well, I haven't exactly received it yet. But I'm just on a serious note. I have a Grand Cherokee and a Rolls Royce, and I'd rather drive the Grand Cherokee.
Yeah.
Because I bought the Rolls Royce, by the way, when I just before I went to rehab. So
when you're making all those wise decisions.
Yeah, when I was making all those great decisions.
You'll buy a Rolls Royce.
And then once you have it, and then I traded it in on another one, and so. But anyway, so I was still drinking when I did that.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't drinking when I got the Grand Cherokee. They're terrific. So go to your Tri-State Jeep Eagle dealer and tell them you want a Grand Cherokee or any other kind of Jeep, because they make American cars now better than they make foreign cars.
Yep.
And Chrysler leads the way, and particularly your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealer.
Senator said that health care is the #1 problem facing the...
Voiced their opposition to the health care plan.
Critical support for the health care.
Healthcare was a business issue long before it was a political one. Fortunately, a lot of businesses have had the answer for a long time.
Bernard?
HIP.
One-eyed.
We could do Rush Limbaugh, or we could do sports, which is sponsored by the stock exchange, or we could talk to the doctor.
We're going to do all three. In what order?
Unlike other plans, there are no hidden costs. What's more, there's no deductible. There's even a $200 million program to enhance...
Isn't there any way they can beat me swearing?
No.
Well, I don't want to do that.
Well, just don't do it.
Well, I have an uncontrollable temper.
That's a different rehab.
Tourette.
It's not. I don't have Tourette.
But just please stop. Just don't do it.
But I'm telling you seriously.
What?
It just goes on every day.
Yeah, well, I know, but just censor yourself. Just curtail.
I'm just talking about trying to stay on top of it.
I understand that. All I'm saying is just,
I want all of the
use
people,
another expletive. That's
I want all of the people and all of the local stations we're on to die.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
You don't.
Especially that
want this kind
fat
of
guy I just
horrible...
met from Albany.
No, I promise you don't want that.
All right. Which stop set is this? The second? Sports. We're going to seg sports right out of this. Then we'll talk to Dr. Whitkin. Then we'll do Rush. No, you know what we'll do? We'll do Kinky. They ain't making Jews.
That's fine.
I'm going to lead with that Kerrigan cut.
Play that? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
All right, I gotta go get it.
Okay, we'll do that. This is supposed to be in the studio, of course, but go get it.
You have an interest in Bo Dietl?
Do you mean sexually?
For what? To talk about what?
Well, he's got some Yucarinos. He's just back from the Dominican Republic.
Hi, Brian Evans again. 9X Mobile. Today I'm on the 735.
If we have time.
Free cellular phone up.
Hey, you're Brian Evans.
So it's your position I'm being unreasonable again?
Yes, that's my position. You're being unreasonable. No, you're not being unreasonable. But I'm just saying that I would like to see you here in this particular setting, to just pull back a little bit in your explosive utterances that probably offend some people.
Up to 60 minutes of local talk time in your first, 7th,
That's all.
13th, and 19th full billing cycles.
I think they're alternative.
Exclusive offer, you pay no activation fee. Visit your local 9X mobile center or call
So I've been totally out of control this morning? Is that what you're suggesting?
No, you haven't been totally out of control. No, I refute that. No, I absolutely not.
Just go sag the sports thing I told you.
And early cancellation fee may apply.